Aakash, that 15-day gap between the IPL and international cricket, is this a genuine dilemma then for the BCCI?
Oh, well, at this point in time, yes, because Australia are likely to be here till the last week of March. They have to play 4 test matches as per the FTP currently.
Yes.
And the Champions Trophy starts on 1st of June. So, yes, it is a real dilemma of sorts. But then they'll have to find a way. As far as I'm concerned, country versus country comes first. India are the defending champions.
Yep.
And India must play in the Champions Trophy. I can't see India not participating in the Champions Trophy. I'm sure they'll find a way out to have the IPL and also the Champions Trophy at the same time.
Well, I'm glad you brought that point up, Aakash, how both of those tournaments can be held and India can participate in both of them, Indian players, that is. Let's take that to Charu. Now, Charu, if all the Lodha recommendations are implemented in toto, how do you have both of them, Champions Trophy and IPL? Would you then perhaps like to see perhaps a shortened IPL, which will create that 15-day window between the two tournaments?
Aakash, it's really quite simple. We have to first understand that the Lodha committee and all the rest of the people involved with Justice Lodha are not unwise. They've kept a 15-day window, a gap between tournaments and the IPL. But if one was to approach them and have a dialogue and understand why 15 days, why not 10, why not 35, I think there would be a situation where a solution can be found. And I'm sure the Lodha committee would then, and the Supreme Court would then understand that for certain reasons or calendar reasons or whatever else it may be, for instance, other sports. I mean, there are tournaments held day in, day out. People finish on a Sunday, a major professional tournament, and they're back again playing, say, in the world of tennis and elsewhere on Monday. Yes. Even between series, you finish a test, you start another. So the Lodha committee would be very pliant to practical suggestions. I just feel that the board hasn't done enough to go and have a dialogue and a continuing dialogue with the Lodha commission saying, excuse me, we understand you've said all of this. Some of these may not be practical. Can we please have a better understanding, and can we realize that it is possible to have, say, just a 4-day window or a 10-day window, because it happens in sports around the world, in every sport. So, you know, these are just matters of resolution. Yes. And I just feel that the board hasn't done enough. I mean, you can't sit back and keep complaining. And also, I think there's, I mean, I shouldn't say this, it's only conjecture. But, you know, if there is an implosion, if, for instance, India is unable to play one tournament or the other, or doesn't take part in the Champions Trophy, the Indian board could even, in a strange way, you know, cut your nose to spite your face, not play, and therefore get massive public sympathy and a whole lot of PR saying, how come they're not playing the Champions Trophy as defending champions, or at any rate, and you know, the commission has got it all wrong and such like. So there could even be that level of Machiavellian kind of, you know, planning. But I hope that's not it. It's just a question of dialogue. Aakash, please talk to each other and get better solutions. You can't sit back and keep sniping. That doesn't work. Well, not in this and not in all the rest of the recommendations either.
Right. Interestingly, Charu, you know, a number of cricket experts that I've spoken to before this have echoed exactly the same sentiment, that the BCCI somehow have not had a dialogue with the Lodha committee, and they've come across as rather stubborn, and that has made the Lodha panel, you know, take stern action against them and go back to the Supreme Court and say, look, just take the top brass out for now. Let's quickly show you what the Lodha panel has sent. This is an email that they have sent to the BCCI and its banks, and they have further tightened the screws really, whereby they have told the banks of the BCCI, do not send the money, do not disburse the funds that were supposed to be disbursed according to the last decision that was taken at the BCCI meeting on the 30th of September. There on your screens is that decision. Aakash, just enough time to squeeze in one last question. The Lodha panel seems to be tightening the screws quite a bit. The 6th of October, when the Supreme Court hears the matter again, that could really be D-Day for the BCCI.
Oh, well, we don't know yet. Again, it's a conjecture, but having said that, 7th is when we'll get to know, 7th of October, in 4 days' time, we'll get to know what the Supreme Court has to say. And in the meantime, BCCI will also file their response to the Lodha recommendation, or the state, the report that they have filed, that status report as they call it. So we'll get to know what exactly happens. But yes, 7th of October might just be a very, very important day for the BCCI and for Indian cricket more importantly.
Absolutely.